Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News, and we have an update with the Clayton Echard v. Laura Owens case heard round the world. There is an appeal that has been filed. We're going to get into it. I'm going to share with you exactly what was said. I think it was like a 5-pager, that appeal from Laura and her notable power attorney, David Gingras. I guess is they don't like the outcome. They don't like the loss, and they're going to appeal it. And maybe they'll lose the appeal, and they'll still say, "Well, we still don't believe in it," or whatever. But it has been quite interesting watching justice take its course. So I'm going to read that appeal for you. If you say, Dave, you're feeling kind of chipper this morning. Well, my Patriots pulled out a win last night. Go get them. It's been a few years. It's been a while. It's a rebuilding season. And speaking of rebuilding seasons, we'll have to see if Laura Owens rebuilds her podcast. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what she could possibly be talking about right now with all of the lies that she's been caught in. I'm going to share with you this really interesting and if not hilarious and definitely sad timeline of videos that are being put out by Justice for Clayton official on Instagram. I'm going to share this with you where they clearly show the instances where she's, it looks like to me, committing perjury. I'm no lawyer, but it looks like perjury to me in all of the ways she's caught herself in lies. Now, we've covered this ad nauseum. She's complained literally to the police. Dave keeps on making videos. If I made 100, I made 1,000. You didn't like, you ever get like scolded by your parents and they're like, we're going to put you in timeout for like 2 hours. And you're like, why don't you make it 7 days? And they're like, okay. You want 100 videos? I'm going to give you 1,000. So the point being is that we'll give you your updates. Your updates will be coming in. I am here with a full pot of cold brew to give you all the news. I also, in this video, will give you as much of an update as I can about the investigation that is going on and what you can do to help. Okay, but we do have a lot to cover here, so let's just bang right into it. Here is, which is what got Laura in this problem in the first place, or a lack of banging. So here it is, notice of appeal. Pursuant to Arizona, petitioner Laura Owens, Laura, or petitioner, gives notice that she appeals to the Arizona Court of Appeals from the final judgment entitled Application for Attorney's Fees and Costs. So it's like blah, blah, it's typical jargon, doesn't say much, and then let's keep going. For the appellate's court's benefit, Laura notes an obvious issue. And again, I don't think any of this was pertinent for the appeal. I think all they had to do was that first page. Look, we plan on appealing, blah, blah, blah. Get it in the books, right? But instead they say the fee judgment does not contain the finality certification required by family law, and thus that judgment would ordinarily not be appealable, standing alone. Nevertheless, in light of the unfortunately complicated procedural history of this matter, it is clear the fee judgment is final and properly appealable as a matter of right. Now, the only reason why it is complicated at all is because every lawyer, much like a lot of her partners, has run away from her. Because they go, oh boy, we are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and we do not need that in our lives. And as much as folks like me and others would like to run away, it's important we see this thing through, because she does benefit from the chaos of it all. It gets complicated. What's this? What's going on? I've been smeared to high hell. Have the FBI called on me, the district attorneys. She's, used multiple lawyers to try to shake me down, send me restraining orders, this, that, and the other. I mean, it's like she feeds like mold off of this chaos. She feeds, check them. Maybe there's just mold in the casita. Have they done a mold check? Sometimes mold can do. Or Lyme disease? Did she get bit by a tick? What is going on? Does she have Rocky Mountain fever? Please, somebody let me know. Little to no mold found, hopefully. Even I wouldn't wish mold on my worst enemies. Maybe a brown recluse in her bed sheets. I don't know, whatever. She filed a pleading entitled motion to vacate judgment. Okay, none of this matters, right? None of this matters. Although the fee judgment entered in this matter on August 19th does not contain a finality certification, and while it does not expressly mention Laura's post-trial motion, that filing nevertheless fully and finally resolves all issues, leaving nothing further for the trial court to decide. Therefore, the fee judgment constitutes a signed written order. Again, he says, I just want to do the law by the letter of the law, but he's poking, he's prodding, and I'm no expert, as you guys know. Just a internet journalist in my pajamas, but we'll have to see, if he's able to poke or prod. I mean, my guess is these types of appeals, look smart to the average person. Oh, there's a lot of words in there. He's citing case law. But my guess is, it's like when you do a magic trick to a magician, they're like, yeah, cool, I know exactly what you did. And every judge has probably seen every trick in the book to try to get, people's clients off the hook. And who knows, maybe he's giving Laura false promises, or maybe he has this pipe dream that there is an appeal that is worthy. My question though for the appeal is, and again, maybe these people in the comment section can let me know, will she have to put up money? In order to appeal something, you should have to put up like the cost of whatever you're appealing. That way, if you lose, it's like, all right, money just immediately, it gets sent into an account. The second you lose, that money goes to, who it's supposed to go to, which is wood and claw, really. So he says, again, because the procedural history of this matter is confusingly complicated, some additional information is helping to understand why the fee judgment necessarily resolved Laura's post-trial motion, even though it does not specifically mention it. In addition to her post-trial motion seeking relief under Rule 83 and 85 on July 8th, 2024, Laura also filed a notice of change of judge for cause. The filing of that motion prevented the named trial judge, Julie Mata, from ruling on Laura's other pending motion. The named judge should proceed no further in the action. Okay, so then they cite that. On July 18th, while the notice of change of judge remained pending, the notice Julie Mata, issued a one-line minute order purporting to deny all of Laura's post-trial motions. So again, I think what happened was, while he was filing for a new judge, she was filing her motions, and then they had to kind of pause and untangle it all. It was an absolute mess. None of this should matter for the appeals. 5 days later, on August 19th, the court issued the fee judgment awarding nearly $150,000 in attorney's fees and costs to respondent Clayton Echard. While the fee judgment does not expressly mention any arguments raised in Laura's post-trial motion, the fee judgment nevertheless implicitly and summarily denied Laura's request for relief. So again, to go down. To be sure, the Court of Appeals has also recognized the Barassi rule as limited in scope. So he's citing rules, no time extension motions remain pending, things that I don't know much about, but we'll have to see if any of this has any merit. Viewed in full context, it is clear the fee judgment necessarily and finally resolved Laura's post-trial motion by denying all relief Laura requested. Put simply, if Laura's post-trial motion had been granted, the Superior Court could not and would not have awarded fees to respondent. On the contrary, it would have ordered a new trial before a different judge, and it would have declined to award any fees to respondent at that stage. My guess is when the judge looks at this, they make a judgment call. That's what a judge is there for, right? A judgment call to say, look, whatever he's trying to get, whatever loophole he's trying to go through, they might say, that's not, none of the facts of the case are being contested here. Do you know what I mean? He asked for a new judge. They denied that. It was denied. It's done. Move on. By doing what it did, the Superior Court made its final decision clear. For that reason, there is no reason for any additional judicial gymnastics in the trial court, nor is there any reason to allow any further time or opportunity to persuade the Superior Court of its error, so that the court's ruling on a pending motion may cure any error and obviate the necessity for an appeal. The trial court has already denied Laura's post-trial motion in its entirety. Then it withdrew that ruling. Then it issued a fee award, which implicitly denied all relief sought in the post-trial motion. Any further proceedings in the trial court to alter this outcome are plainly futile. Accordingly, the Court of Appeals has jurisdiction over this appeal. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, anyone in the Patreon comment section want to give me any information? Do we know when this will go to trial and what might happen? Not really sure. Not really sure. But either way, that's where that stands. Now, the reason I didn't read this word for word is because it just feels like a whole bunch of hooba stank. What is it? What is it? There isn't much going on there. So let's just dive out of that. But for technicality's sake, you guys know me. When something new happens in the trial, I'm trying to cover it for you. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. But I wanted to share several of these other timelines. So they're extremely extensive. I've tried my best to share everyone who's been covering this case as sort of like the lead guy here as far as, making YouTube videos Although, I've got no leadership over I have no idea who these people are, but they have done really, really good work. So I'm going to share some of those cases for you. First, let's go take a quick second here and look at Justice for Clayton Official on Instagram. And they've really put together and truncated a lot of these insane moments.
Ms. Owens, did you send me via email an ultrasound video?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
And then that's the ultrasound video right there.
Ever have a sonogram video of any kind with Clayton?
No.
Do you ever send a sonogram video to anyone claiming that it showed the pregnancy with Clayton?
No.
So my question. So my question here, I love the graphics, is this style of lies that she told, is this enough to be tried? So we're going to shift our focus real quick and talk about the investigation that's happening. Just to catch everybody up, and by the way, there are unbelievable examples here of what went down. Here's what a lawyer for a gossip magazine had to say. Let's reset the deck with this, and then I'm going to get into what the county prosecutor has said.
We've been talking about this case for quite some time, and we were getting messages and social media comments saying that Laura Owens is a scammer and a fraudster, and she's done this before. And apparently the court agreed that there was no sexual intercourse whatsoever. And when the court demanded that Owens provide those medical records to show that she was pregnant, she didn't comply. So she is in a world of trouble. She's going to have to pay tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees in this case. And now, whenever anyone Googles her name, they're going to know that this was a false claim. So this was very serious, but big win for Clayton.
And again, it's only the beginning, because my guess is she's doing or hiring her own SEO people to make sure that this stuff gets buried. Believe it or not, even though we all know about this, I was talking to several big Bravo podcasters, and Bravo is a nice parallel universe to The Bachelor. They had no idea that this was all going down. So yeah, there's plenty of instances where she was just flat out exposed.
You said, when was this email sent to you?
September 17th.
And it was your understanding that it was sent from Mr. Echard?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And what was this email in response to?
This was in response to me saying that I had told him that if he didn't continue to participate in the paternity case, that I felt like I was going to need to go to the press, because I thought that would pressure him to come up with a parenting
Objection,
plan.
Your Honor, she's providing.
You said...
So a parenting plan. So she admits that she wanted to go to the press. Now, of course, went to a lot of people. She went to the press. She went to the FBI. She went to, I believe, the district attorney in my district in Los Angeles, or she went up the flagpole, and the only problem is now she tried to pull strings, and now strings are being pulled in her direction.
Are you able to provide an update as to where you're at in that process, and potentially a time frame as to when a decision could be made?
I know, in fact, I was talking to one of the investigators working on it this morning about an update, and I know they're going through it quickly. They've talked to a number of people, and as you can imagine, it's gathering information from a number of different sources, medical, courts, etc. So they're busy working on that.
And then just generally, when looking at a case like that, how usual or typical or unusual is it to have a case referred to your office the way that it was, when a judge makes a ruling in a family court case and then it ends up?
I've seen that happen before. I've actually had cases.
All right, so there that is. And again, thanks to Justice for Clayton Official for sharing this. Now, the point of sharing Rachel Mitchell here is because I'm a little worried. I have spoken to sources that are familiar with how the investigation is going, and I'm a little worried that if the energy doesn't stay pushing on results, that this could just die down. I mean, there is a solid chance that Laura hires a criminal lawyer, to defend her, and they work out some sort of deal, and it just goes away. Now, there is a lot of bandwidth that goes into investigating. I mean, they probably have they have multiple investigators. We know there's more than one, and their time costs money. And what are they finding? Are they going to find any scenario in which Laura lied and committed perjury for money? Well, it's complicated. She lied because here's my opinion. My opinion is she created these scenarios, A, to punish these men for ditching her, and B, because she gets to play the victim. And I bet you that feels really good to have a lot of women be like, honey, you're so brave, and get her treated with the attention she lacked growing up. Quite frankly, she was not the sibling getting the attention, right? It was her sister, as far as I can tell. And her sister's the one married with the kid. She's not only not getting the attention, she's using her sister's ultrasound to claim it's hers. We have videos, of that here you can find on the timeline. It's absolutely insanity what has been done. Now, is any of that illegal? Well, it's hard to say what's illegal versus what's going to get charged. But anyhow, you can scroll around for that. What's interesting, though, is the amount of information that's out there with body cam footage and things like that. She's flat out lies. This is way juicier. When the FBI was called on me, she doesn't even mention that she was supposedly pregnant, and yet here she is a week later telling the cops the fantastic story. This is the mom's involvement.
My daughter became pregnant by the guy who was the Bachelor last year, and she became pregnant by him in May. You're not really pregnant, or if you are pregnant, it's not mine. And once he found out, that she was pregnant by the Bachelor guy, said she had tried to be anonymous with this whole thing initially. All
right, so of course she tried to be anonymous because that's the way she was, getting away with things. Is she was punishing men privately, and then publicly she was just doing her podcast, right? Well, again, this is, you guys are all familiar with the story. This lady's no dummy, Jan Black. Look at here, Bay Area Radio Hall of Famer. Maybe she licked some lead painted toys in her day and has some neurological issues. What the heck do I know? But maybe again, mold in the casita. Who knows? Get that house checked. But there's probably not mold in Scottsdale. It's very dry. But the point is that, people have come together. Here's a clip of what I posted the other day thanking everyone. I thank Schnitzel Ninja for continuing to put content out there. I thank the Flock for getting this information. The Flock lives on. Where's the Flock? Caw, caw. They fly in. And I want to thank Justice for Clayton, the Wikipedia, the Reddit, the Twitter, the Instagram. Thank you guys all so much for continuing to put your foot on the gas here. And of course, Megan Fox, Lauren, Umbrella Guy, to know that you guys are here. I'm sure I missed people, but one person I did miss was, and by the way, here's the Justice for Clayton Wikipedia. Just go to justiceforclayton.com. But I did miss the Padlet, padlet.com. This is, I'll post a link in the comment section, but this is another person or a team of people, I truly don't know, who have put together the list of all of the resources, all of the timelines, color-coded, when things started, all the way back from 2014, 2016, dates of pregnancies, email. You could literally spend hours, if not days. This is the type of information we want the documentarians to see. The faked ovarian cancer documents, the crazy, here's the day she claimed to have been, the victim of DV, but then uses the same photos and other circumstances. It is, guys, look how extensive this is. Is this not insane? This is literally insane how many dates are on here with so many different things. So they are doing the Lord's work. I'm just some YouTube journalist pawn scum trying to piece it all together here for you guys. But if you like the visual comparisons, that's where you're going to get it. Unbelievable stuff. And also a shout out to Megan Fox. We have sort of haven't been able to swap onto each other's channels just because, we've been covering other content as well. But here she was with our good pal IT Goatee, checking out the video where the FBI were called, because she said she was going to hurt herself if I didn't stop making videos. And then the Scottsdale police arrived. But the idea of me smelling was enough for me to not want you to have to deal with that.
I feel like I can smell him from here, and he smells woodsy.
Oh gosh.
I feel like he smells good. Look at him.
So here's what we got. Did she say I'm a mess? No, I smell woodsy. What do you want? I mean, I got a deep woodsy smell. So those are your updates. What else can I say? I'm trying to think here if there's anything I'm missing. Again, also on Twitter, the Justice for Clayton in a page over there is like sharing all of the different timelines of different bellies and all. I mean, it's just insane. It's absolutely insane. We're still dealing with this. What will the appeal show? That this is why a documentary might be worth making, because an appeal is probably gonna be very narrow in scope. So here's what I can say about the investigators. I'll leave you guys with this. I think the investigators, they're not the ones who are going to decide to charge her or not. It'll be Rachel Mitchell. Rachel Mitchell seems, by all accounts, like a hard-nosed prosecutor. She seems very well respected by a lot of people in that community. And with the previous case of, I believe it was perjury or defamation, I'm not sure which it was, that she prosecuted against that former baseball player Trevor Bauer's accuser, it was very clear that there was a financial reason for those prosecutions. With Laura Owens, I believe the reason is more tied into, like I said before, playing the victim. She's, and maybe when she, if she was to write a book or something where she plays the victim, then you could see the financial gain. But right now it's more about relevance and having a different victim narrative. I mean, she's done the same story 3, possibly 4 times where she wants to be the damsel in distress. Is that not enough for a reason to intervene here? We'll have to see. What's the best thing you guys can do? That's what it all comes down to 22 minutes into this. The best thing you can do is to continue to DM, tag Rachel Mitchell. And if you live in the Scottsdale area and she has a press conference or a meet and greet, get on camera and ask her questions. Let her know that we are not just ignoring this story and it's not going to die down. Listen, she's an elected position. So anyone who's elected is going to want to do what's best for their survival and for their constituents. So she needs to know that if this election season comes and goes in the next 2 months, we're still going to be very, very interested to see this through and see her make Laura pay for the crimes she's committed. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So again, Twitter, DMs, emailing, keep it up. Ask her for updates. I don't think it's unreasonable for our community to want to know that that the foot is still on the gas here. There could absolutely be a scenario where we fall asleep and they say, you know what, there's a bigger, shinier thing to worry about. There might be a new trial that comes out and they want to pull their focus and pull their investigators off this. No, we will be here to cover it. And whatever happens next will either be a lot of praise for the prosecutors or a lot of questions about, why didn't we, with all of this evidence that's smacked down right there, why didn't we do something about it? I assure you, this will not be the last style of case with artificial intelligence, with the ability to manipulate quote unquote truth, with the ability to weaponize smear campaigns and shame to get with all of that. We need to set a precedence here that people are, that we honor the truth, right? And there is no case with that I think is too big or too small. Let me know what you guys think. And again, if you live in Scottsdale, keep an eye out for Rachel Mitchell for her next Q&A, her next press conference, live streams, and whenever you can get a chance, get up there. Meet up with some of your friends in Scottsdale. Go to those, go to those, meet and greets, and let her know that you're very interested in this story. That's the best way we can continue to put the momentum in the right direction. All right, got a lot more content coming out. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.